They were telling each other these things were wrong, and they weren't afraid to get canceled. They weren't afraid to go to jail. They weren't afraid to get beat up. They weren't afraid to get in a little scuffle. People had heart, and that's all that I'm talking about right now. You have to have the heart to understand what we're talking about. Children are hope. Why? Because when I'm gone, when you're gone, the people behind you, the people behind us are going to be the ones to continue the cycle. And do you want to continue the cycle of where we're headed? Because where we're headed is not looking good, because we're not taking care of our children. We're focused on drinking and partying and not enough education. I'm around a lot of foreign people from other countries, and I can tell you right now that their children are 10 times ahead of our American children. And it's not because they're more spectacular. It's not because they're more naturally gifted. No, it's none of that. It's because the difference between a lot of other foreign countries and Americans is we have what's called, what I like to call the spoiled kid syndrome. We have spoiled kid syndrome. And we're so blessed and so privileged in the country that we're in, that we sit back and use our privilege for evil instead of using our privilege for the greater good. And the reason I know that is because you see it all the time. I promise you, y'all have seen it. You've seen it in real life. People from other countries come here and they blow up. Boom, they prosper. Why? It's not because they did anything different. It's because they came here and they took the privileges that we have here in America and they used it to their advantage. But we sit back here as a spoiled kid and say, America better hand it to me. America better give it to me. And that's how we're raising our children. We're raising our children to say, just sit there and wait till somebody give it to you. And then they never do. And then they have children. And then they children's children have children. And then we're just creating a lazier and lazier and lazier generation of kids, because no one is stepping in and say, hey, get it together. Stop waiting for the government. Stop waiting for someone else. Stop waiting for your boss. Stop waiting for the laws to change for you to get your children to read. Stop waiting for the government to tell you, oh, school will be free. Stop waiting for your children to tell you, for the government to tell you this will be free, that will be free, right? Stop waiting for that, because what if it never happens, right? Does that mean you should stop, educating your children? No. What that means is, regardless of what happens, where you go, where you move, where you live, you should educate your children, because they're the next generation of importance. So you need to stop choosing yourself, stop going out as much, stop drinking, stop doing drugs, all these different things that are leading you to not prepare your children for the world. Because I promise you, if I talk to a lot of y'all say, I wish my parents would have. I wish my parents could have. I wish my parents did. I wish my parents would. So instead of being like your parents, look at your children and say, I won't be like what my parents did to me. That's what we're talking about.
It's a good father, y'all.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a good father.
That's all I'm saying. It's literally that simple. Instead of looking at what the world is telling you should be to your children, look at what the word is telling you should be to your children. And it's simple. Love, compassion, grace, but also discipline. Doesn't mean abuse. It means discipline. It means you need to understand right from wrong. That's discipline. Understanding right from wrong. And no one is telling people how to do these things the right way. We're just roller coaster. Some days we happy, some days we mad, some days we sad. We're just going up and down and up and down. And then we get to the point to now people are 35 years old, 45 years old, and they lost. And it's a shame.
Yeah, I think I wanted to touch on something. The war with feminism has clouded a lot of y'all's minds. I've really come to understand that this stance that y'all are taking, attacking mothers, attacking stay-at-home women, and telling them that their lives are not valuable, Because, and if it's not you, then I'm not talking to you. But I'm talking to the women who think that your value comes from a job where you clock in and you make money. That's fine. But your job is your child. And anything that comes before your child has to be demoted. You are your child's safe space. You're your child's anchor in this world. Even the fathers, they have to work and they have to go out and get it. And if you are in a situation where you have to work as well, I'm not shaming you. But what I am telling you is, don't let that job or don't let anybody tell you that being a mother comes second. Being a mother comes first. Second to being a wife.
Yeah.
But I want y'all to know that, like, you gotta stop letting the world tell you where your value lies. Mm-hmm. Don't let anybody tell you that there's no value in staying home and teaching your kids yourself and training your kids in the way that they're supposed to be and sitting with your kids every day and instilling love and instilling confidence and instilling respect within them. That's your job. Mm-hmm. And coming from a broken home myself, you really see the strain on women who try to spread themselves too thin. Mm-hmm. And when you find yourself struggling, trying to figure out, why am I angry? Why do I take out my anger on my children? Why am I not able to empathize with my kids? It's because you're spread too thin. Mm-hmm. There's some super women out there. Yeah. There are some women who can work and who can do it all, but majority of us are not that. I'm not that. And when I'm talking to you, I'm telling you from a place of being spread thin at one point. You have to choose what kind of parent you want to be. And you have to choose what it means to look after your children and to guarantee safety for your children and to make sure that no matter what, you stand in the line of fire for your kids. Stop putting your kids in front and hiding behind them and saying, I'm angry and I'm this way and I'm that way and I'm immature and I need to have a life and I need to do this, and blaming your kids for everything that's wrong with you. Because at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for the things that you haven't healed from, for the things that happened to you, for the things that you've put yourself in bad situations for your immaturity. Those are your fault. And your responsibility, not your children. And I'm tired of always hearing F them kids and your kids them kids. I'm more than a mother. I'm more than a mother. No, when you decided to have those children, you're a mother. And I don't care what else you are. I do not care what else you are. So whatever else you identify as, you ain't got to talk to nobody about it, because at the end of the day, if you're not a good mother, you ain't good for nothing. That's my perspective. I genuinely applaud the mothers that love their kids and that prioritize their children, because that's creating a generation of love. And that's God's purpose. God's purpose is for you to experience and express the highest amount of love that you can possibly hold within the vessel. And if you cannot do that for your own children, stop trying to do it for a man. Stop trying to do it for your friends. Stop trying to do it for your family. If you cannot do it for your own children, you've already failed. Mm-hmm. I am passionate about it because as a child, I was not advocated for.
Most people weren't as a child.
Most people weren't. Mm-hmm. But as an adult, I don't let that be the reason why I don't prosper. Yeah. I don't let that be the reason. No, I don't let that be an excuse. I let it be a fuel to be a better mother to my children and to watch them prosper. And I'm not in competition. That's another thing. Stop being in competition with your kids.
Or your peers.
Or your peers. Or anybody around you. But especially the people that come from you. Mm-hmm. They should be better than you. Everything that you went through should be a stepping stone for your children to step on top of and grow from, and their children and their children's children. Do you understand? You do not need to start to feel like I've heard this a lot. Have you heard, I went through it and I'm okay? Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. Why would you perpetuate something that hurt you as a child onto your children? Yeah,
exactly. That's like when people say that, to me, one is dumb. But I always use the analogy, do I need to go to jail to know I don't want to go to jail? Mm-hmm. Do I need to kill someone to know that it's wrong to do that?
No.
Exactly. So to say, well, I went through it, so if my kids go through it, they'll be all right, is not smart. Because you wouldn't want your kid to go to jail just for them to find out they don't like jail. It doesn't make sense. And if you are that type of parent, I pray for you, because it's literally ridiculous. We're at a point now where all you see is adults competing with each other, right? Instead of competing with how we can make our children smarter, faster, and better, more agile. Our children are, way overweight. You got 6-year-olds who weigh as much as a 35-year-old adult. We are literally deteriorating our children before their lives even start. We're doing so many things wrong. We promote my 600-pound life, and these kids on that show, they start out, they're 13 years old and they're already 350 pounds, and we're promoting it like it's okay. They had a hard life. Everyone at somewhere across the board, someone's life is harder than yours. It's not an excuse. It's just for us to say, hey, this is wrong. Stop giving that plate to that child. Make cutbacks. Do things to help your children instead of putting them in positions to fail. Because when they fail, you can't look at them and say, why'd you fail? You set them up for failure. How can you expect your children to prosper and to be something in life, to be great in life, when you set them up to fail? And you say, well, my parents didn't give me nothing. Exactly. So if your parents didn't give you nothing, why would you say, I'm not going to give my children anything either? Doesn't make sense. That literally, all that's saying to me is proving to me you're saying, I don't care. I don't care about my children. My mama didn't care about me, so why would I care about mine? That's literally what you're saying when you say, well, my children will be okay, or I'm doing enough. All you're saying is, I had you, and when you get 18, I'm going to kick you out. That's what we do. In the American culture, as soon as our kids are old enough to go to college, we kick them out, kick them to the curb. And wondering why our kids are financially behind. Wondering why our kids, are struggling. Wondering why our kids are in jail. Because we kick them out so fast before they're completely and utterly ready to leave. Because you want to have your own time to yourself. That's how bad you want your time to yourself. You're like, I don't care what happened to this little 17-year-old. I don't care what happened to this little 18-year-old. Once you graduate high school, you out of here. And then our kids, they go out there as 18-year-olds that weren't taught how to read, that weren't taught financial literacy, and they go out there and they go get loans, they go get credit cards, they go do all these things, they get in debt, they get a repos, they get their house foreclosed on, they get all these things, and because they were already from the start set up for failure, back to back to back to back to back. We need to teach our children how to properly manage loans. We need to teach our children about credit. We need to teach our children how to stay in the nest long enough to where they can save some money, so when they finally go out into the world, they can be okay. It's not about being millionaires or rich or anything like that. It's literally just simply setting your children up to be okay. Is that too much to ask for your children to be okay? It's not saying you send your children out there with $1 million. You gotta go make $1 trillion so you can send your kids out there so they can be millionaires as soon as they leave the nest. No, it's saying set your kids up enough to where they can at least be okay when they leave. Children are leaving the nest and then they're not okay. They hurt themselves. They do all types of stuff because they're not okay, because we setting our children up for failure. Me personally, we believe it does not matter if it's for our son or for our daughter, right? For our daughter, she can stay as long as she wants until she gets married. Truthfully. Why? Because she needs all that time to be vetted by her husband, so she won't have to leave the house until she gets married. If that means she's 30 until she leaves the house, that's fine. Guess what that means? That means by the time she's 30 and she gets married, she leaves out the house. Guess what that means? She has enough money saved up, so if anything happens or anything, they go through tough times with her husband lose a job, whatever the case may be, guess what? She'll say, oh, babe, my parents let me stay with them until I was 30. You know, I got some money put back, so